What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Old Volks TV. Another episode of the old Kikibus. Putting in floors and fixing rusty, super rusty frame components and other parts and pieces. If you haven't seen from the beginning, look up here in the corner somewhere and I'll put links to previous episodes. I think this is number 4 so far. We're still working on the passenger side. It's not difficult, but it takes longer than you think. So we've got basically outriggers, rockers, some support. That stuff's all cut and ready to go in. We're ready to button up this side and move on. But when I had to throw my patch up in the corner here because the body was falling apart from rust, we decided we were going to go ahead and do the C-pillar. So we got one ordered up from Wolfsburg West. They make some pretty good parts. We've used a bunch of them so far on here and they fit pretty good. But this goes here, this way, just like that. This one's tricky because the door hinge screws to this. This is not the outer piece, it's just the inner piece. But you got to pull the screws out of the lower hinge. And if your bus is already rusty up to there, you can only guess how hard that's going to be. I'm going to try a couple things. Maybe I can get them out and back in. If not, then we're just going to have to trim just the lower part and cut the lower part, you know, which is acceptable because the top piece is not actually rusty. We don't need to replace all of this. I would like to, just because new metal is easier to work with and a bigger piece is easier to work with than just trying to trim out a little itty bitty guy. So we're gonna give it a shot, anyways. And I gotta undo some of the work that I did in the corner, unfortunately, to get it in there. But overall, this is gonna help support this side of the bus, so super necessary. We're gonna have to do it. So I'll move the camera down there and I will show you how to do it. Let's go. All right, first thing we need to do when we're gonna replace this piece is to hold it in place here and mark our top line and make sure that, you know, we got everything kind of where it should be. Looks a little high when it's all in there. Maybe it goes down here. Gotta make sure these bolt holes line up if we're gonna try to use the whole thing. So that's kind of important. Second thing you gotta do is you gotta locate 8 little spot welds inside this channel and drill them out. We like to use this bit. It has this little tip on it. It's gonna be kind of hard to see. I love these bits for drilling out spot welds. That's what we ended up using on the floor because the little tip will go through and this will sort of scour the outside of the hole so you can see where it is without going completely through both pieces. So pick those up. I think it's a DeWalt bit. I got them at the Home Depot in a set. I don't know what size this is. I used a bunch of different sizes. This is a 1/4 inch. I probably wouldn't go any smaller than that, a 1/4 inch. Just because you don't want to make too small a hole. You want to make sure you get through all those spots. Before I did that, I sprayed these screws down with a little bit of PV Blaster. Got some PV Blaster here. This is fantastic for breaking stuff loose. I love it. You put that stuff on everything, like Frank's Red Hot Sauce. Then we're going to take our super fancy impact screwdriver and we're going to try to bust those screws out of there. As you can see, that doesn't really fit too well. I don't know what they use to put those screws in there, but that's not going to work. I need to be straight on for this to work properly. So we're going to cut our little line. We're going to fold this lip out of the way. We're not going to cut too much because if we can't get them out, I'm going to end up trimming this like I said, and I'm just going to do the lower 4 or 5 inches. But I want to cut it up here and fold this away so I can get this screwdriver in here. I can always fold that back and throw a little tack on there and grind it up, and you will never know. This bus has got so many other bruises on it, it doesn't matter. So let's do that. We'll grind it. We will whack these screws out of here with this impact screwdriver. Harbor Freight. I'll throw a link down below if you can't find one. Hopefully they come out. If not, then we'll start cutting something else. Let's get to cutting. Yeah, that didn't work so good for me. Got one out, but the other one not coming, and it's starting to strip. So we are gonna leave them in there. I'm gonna just trim a little bit off the bottom here, and trim a little bit off the bottom here, and we're just gonna go with that. Because if you can't get the hinges out, you definitely don't want to go cutting on all of that. So I'll throw a little tacky tack up here and make that one piece again. Wishful thinking, I guess, on my part. Hoping I could get that out, but oh well. We're gonna cut it out, and we'll trim this up, and we'll get it in there. All right, time for the last thing for today. Did not make it to the other side, unfortunately, but we did get all that frame stuff done. Last thing we're gonna do today, we're gonna finally put this little patchy patch on there. I don't need to get behind it anymore. I've welded everything I need to do back there, so it's a good time to put this on and put this side to bed. So I've already trimmed before. So now we got a good test fit. It lines up nicely with the, there we go. Lines up nicely with the rocker that we put in. Follows that nice body line. So it's perfect. So all we gotta do is punch a few holes in the top so we can tack it to that existing super soft body. And then we'll do a few little quick welds on the bottom to weld it to the rocker itself. And that's it. We'll let the body guy worry about putting 1/2 inch of Bondo back on there. But for now, at least it'll be on there. It'll look a little better. We'll primer it all over so it's a uniform color. That's why we got all our yellow tape on there to set our boundaries of our primer. So we get to use the fancy new tool that we got. This is a punch and crimp tool. So this side punches a tiny hole, which you'll see in a second, and then you rotate the head around, and this side would be what flanges it, which we can't do here because this metal's no good, but on the other side for the long panel we'll do it. Yeah, so we're gonna punch some holes in this panel so that we can tack weld or spot weld sort of through it, and that'll attach it here. That's a little bit better than having to grind off a huge bead across the top. So let's punch some holes and fire up that welder. And a little magnet holding that in there. So basically, this fits on there, and you just squeeze it. Bingo! Got a nice little 1/4 inch hole. We'll do those about I don't know, that far apart. Oop. There we go. Got a bunch of holes that we can weld to this craptastic metal back here. I didn't want to trim it and try to butt weld it because this is screwed up to begin with, so it would just make it worse. So we got to get that in there. Got one of Matt Jackson's heavy duty computer magnets. Works great. All right, let's see. All right, we got everything done. Finally, on the passenger side, we got everything tight, welded in, primered, solid. The outriggers, you know, came out nice. The frame supports on top. The inner rocker, the outer rocker, you know, nice and solid. You know, lines up with the body real well. Everything is good and hard there. If you want to make fun of my welds, please do so in the comments below so we can all have a good laugh. They may not be pretty, but they are solid, so no one's ever going to see them. The floor is going to cover that. I did test fit the floor. It fits in there really nice. Doors close really good. I'm the most proud of this door right here. This took me half a day to get that door to shut and latch and have a nice gap all the way around. We got a good gap, nice and tight, even though the bottom of the door still needs to be replaced. We got our little panel in there, needs a little bit of Bondo, but from 100 feet away behind another car at night, it looks pretty good. But at least it's on there, it's not rusty. But half a day to get this stupid door nice and, you know, operating correctly. And the front one works just as good. The floor fits in there good. Everything's really nice. Didn't get a chance to hit that driver's side today. Just spent too much time on the door, and it just, time got away from us. But we'll save that for next week. We'll get the bus turned around and peel back that rotten skin. And there's less pieces over there too, so we should be in pretty good shape. That should go pretty quick, and then we can get the floors in. I still need to fabricate a piece for down there where the floor meets that bulkhead, but I can fab one of those up at work and just bring it in and weld it before the floor goes in. Overall, pretty good. Very productive day. I know it didn't look like we got much done, but that was a lot of work to get everything super solid in there. So I'm real happy with that. It's super hot. I'm dying in the garage. The AC in the house is broken, so I can't even go inside and cool off. I'm gonna go take a shower and get all this dusty dust off me. So come back next week. We'll attack the other side. Be that much closer to getting this thing buttoned up. And as always, hit that subscribe button, ring that little bell right there so you get the notifications. Tell a friend. Thanks for watching.